Beginning, guys, the team building portion for this week of the BBR Battle Royale, where your SoCal Annihilation take on my brother, mi hermano, one of the most talented minds in the Draft League community, OGalbina, coach of the Carolina Roaring Moon. If you're excited for today's matchup, for today's team builder, do me the massive favor and rage fist that thumbs up button. And if you're new, por favor, hit the subscribe button. Turn on post notifications, hit the bell button to get notified every single time we post a new video. The small amount of time it takes for you to hit the like and sub button really does help me out a lot. So please take that half-second look down, check to see if you're subscribed. There's an obnoxious amount of people that watch my videos that are not subscribed. I'm very close to hitting that 1,000 subscriber, really the benchmark, that the target that all content creators tried to hit. And helps me support me making all these videos and taking the time out of my day to really get this done for you guys. And I would love your help along this journey. Would mean the absolute world to me. So today we're going to talk about what the team we're going to be bringing against the Carolina Roaring Moon is going to be. Allows you to pick my brain a little bit, what our thought process was for the matchup, etc., etc. Pull up a chair, get your popcorn ready, and hit the lights. Okay guys, so we're back. Now, we're gonna go through all this on Showdown. It's just the easiest form, the best form for you guys in my personal opinion. I've tried layouts, I've tried team builder slides, all that fun stuff. At the end of the day, nothing better, nothing beats Showdown. It's an awesome resource to be able to do anything competitive Pokemon. So, the Carolina Roaring Moon is now above my head. So this is the matchup that we've got against our boy. His team is in the red, our team is in the blue. So he has the first overall pick in the Scarlet Draft. He picked Roaring Moon. He's got the mascot. And I'm not saying this because it's my favorite Pokemon, probably now of all time. This Pokemon is one of the most threatening mons in this generation. It really truly is. Very slept on in Draft League right now, but very eminent in the singles ladder scene. He's got Slowking, he's got Titan. That's a Klefki. That's the Dunsparce, which is the evolution of Dunsparce. Clodsire, which forms a crazy core paired up with the Dunsparce. He's got the Volcarona, he's got the Serena, and Electrode. Love the fact that Electrode got some love here. Fantastic that thing's been drafted. Shout out to Terastallizing. So a couple different things to note about his team. Very fast team. Electrode is actually the fastest Pokemon in the game, so long that Regieleki is not around. Although it isn't very threatening offensively, and he did not make it a Terra Captain, which doesn't make it like a crazy threat. Terra Ice on an Electrode would probably be pretty nuts because it could just outspeed and kill everything that isn't Choice Scarfed. And even then, you have to be pretty fast in Choice Scarf to be able to outspeed an Electrode, and the combination of Thunderbolt plus Terra Blast Ice would have been nuts. But luckily, his Terra Captain is indeed the Roaring Moon, which is nuts. Don't get me wrong, absolutely obnoxious. So he decided to do Terra Steel for his Roaring Moon. A couple other things to note about his team: Stealth Rocks, Hazards, right? He's got Stealth Rocks and Annihilape, again, fantastic Pokemon. Spikes in the Klefki, Stealth Rock in the Dunsparce, and Stealth Rock and I believe Toxic Spikes as well in the Clodsire. We'll have to check that out a little bit. I should do that for you guys here now. I think that Clodsire does. I didn't prepare it to have Toxic Spikes. We'll talk about it in a little bit. It does have Toxic Spikes, as you can see on your screen. But I didn't prep for it because I don't think that he can fit it this matchup, and I'll explain my thought process, what that was for, why. A couple other things to note about his team. The Volcarona can pick up and run away with this game if we're not careful, so we do have to ensure that we get that taken care of. That was weird. Showdown just bugged out. Serena is his only form of removal. I actually reached out to Owen. I was like, hey bro, you didn't draft hazard removal. And he's like, oh shit. I don't think I did. Not in those exact words, but I don't think that he noticed that Klefki didn't get Devog. And initially he had Abomasnow on this team over to Serena. So right after the draft, he made the switch to Serena from Abomasnow. So good move, I think, on my part. Serena's a fantastic Pokemon. Great utility, still has knockoff, still has U-turn. It lost aromatherapy, which is unfortunate, but most Serenas, in my opinion, didn't really run with aromatherapy. I don't know if it's just like a culture thing, but still a great mon. And we already talked about Electrode, gassed that Pokemon up enough. Now, if I were to guess the mons that I think he brings is probably the He brings the Roaring Moon. He brings Annihilape. He brings Slowking. He probably brings Titan, but I'm not gonna put it as if it's gonna come now. I don't think that Titan really has much merit. It's a lot harder for him to get that Slush Rush speed without chilly reception on Slowking, and I don't think that he's gonna fit it this week. So I think that he brings Klefki as the 4th Pokemon. He brings Clodsire, and he also brings Volcarona, because Volcarona is such an offensive juggernaut against my team. So that's what we prepared for. We're going to talk about what we brought. What we're going to bring in. The very first mon that we're going to be bringing is going to be Palafin. Palafin this week is a very intricate set. Now, Palafin, it is the hero form, for those who don't know, and it looks different. Palafin's hero form. So it's this, right? I also want to change this to, that's why it's freaking out. It should be on Paldea Dex Draft. There we go. That's why I was freaking out. It's Palafin Hero, right? But this is how we have to put it in the beginning. Is this boy 0 to Hero is what gives it its transformation. This week we're going to be running Leftovers, and you could probably guess why. His biggest check to Palafin this week. For those who don't know, Palafin is indeed our Terra Captain with Terra type Water, which comes by default here, which is why I didn't change it. His number 1 check here is going to be that Clodsire, which does get Water Absorb, which is really annoying. His other ability is Unaware. So we're basically going to make him play 50-50 here. So our set is going to be Jet Punch, not Ice Beam, but Ice Punch. We're going to be running Bulk Up and Substitute. And now the reason for this is if Clodsire is Unaware, then he's not Water Absorb, which means he takes super effective damage from a very powerful Jet Punch. And at +1, it definitely 2-hit KOs that Pokemon. If he is Unaware, then in that case, if he is Water Absorb, that means he's not Unaware. Therefore, he cannot break our substitute with this set. So we're going to decide to actually run 124 in HP. We've got max attack in 252, and we got 132 in speed. And we're running the Adamant Nature because we want to get the most out of our Adamant boosted Jet Punches with Stab and Terra Water. So we're going to be terastallizing almost immediately because we have no change between the two, so we'll just automatically Terra. There's no reason not to just Terra right away and let him be shiny, because there's no defensive reason to not Terra, because we're just terastallizing into water. So it's better just get that output like right from the get, and it doesn't do anything else except for animations. Now my thought process is here. Excuse me. Clodsire, if he's Unaware, like I said, I can just Jet Punch him, which means that if he's Unaware, we just Jet Punch him and he just gets worn down way too fast. If he is Water Absorb, then we can click Substitute and then start bulking up in his face. So Unaware, do not set up. Water Absorb, set up. We're forcing the Clodsire to do one of two things here, because most definitely this is going to be the check. And the reason that we're not running Drain Punch over Ice Punch is because there's another option here, right? The second option is going to be Serena. Serena is also going to be relatively annoying. And Serena also is going to be something that we need to keep account of that could be the check to Palafin. And the reason for it is Serena gets this ability called Queenly Majesty. Now, Queenly Majesty blocks priority moves with Jet Punch, so which means that we can't be locked in with the Choice Band. Although 1 week we will run a Choice Band to Palafin, we can't do it this week because we literally get blocked by Queenly Majesty. So essentially, priority moves do not work. If comes a chance where I lock into Jet Punch and he brings in Serena, we just have to switch, and that's not a good scenario to be in. So we're not going to be doing that. His third scenario here is going to be the Slowking. Now the Slowking is going to be rough, I will admit. Although I will never stay in on Slowking, there's no reason to continue trying to boost past Slowking because I'll never win the 1v1 against Slowking. Slowking can pack Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch, or Thunderbolt, and I think it also gets energy. It doesn't get Energy Ball. Interesting. So that's Thunder Punch, which is something that I could consider, but nonetheless, it still gets Psychic, which means that I can't boost past his stabs enough to really recover much, and all he has to do is just switch out because he gets access to Regenerator. That is not the best scenario to be in, although we do have another Pokemon to switch into this, and then we'll talk about that a little bit more. So I believe that optimally this is the best way that we can use Palafin, so this is what we're going to roll with for this mon. Now the next mon we're going to be bringing in is going to be Iron Moth. Iron Moth is going to be a choice card for this week because we have another little gimmick that we're running this matchup, and this is just our way to automatically outspeed his entire team. His fastest Pokemon is Electrode, which I don't think comes, and I do believe that Electrode off the top of my head does not outspeed us here. I'll put up Electrode now before we actually get into the matchup. Electrode. There it is. Okay, so we'll pull this up and we'll talk about this once I get the rest of the set here. But essentially what the idea behind this is to get Fiery Wrath, Sludge Wave for dual stabs, fantastic dual stabs. Psychic is here to be able to hit the Clodsire for super effective damage, and then Bug Buzz is here to hit super effective damage on the Slowking on switching. We're basically going to be running max special attack here, and we're going to be running enough speed to outspeed the Volcarona. And the reason for that, Volcarona can be a very, very prominent threat if it gets out of hand real fast, and so we're gonna be running 180 in speed and the rest in HP. We actually ran 70 because that's why, because it's a level 50. Both of them should be level 50. Let's change that for the EVs. Odd number. Always want an odd number for rocks. So this is basically here to outspeed his team into clean. It's going to be a cleaner, it's going to be a revenge killer, it's going to be the emergency button against the Volcarona, and it's got coverage against his entire team, which is absolutely fantastic, very self-explanatory. This is going to be the go fast button and pick things off. That way, if I can get to a point where Fiery Dance just cleans up this game, Volcarona can literally just run away with it, because Fiery Dance does have a 50% chance to raise special attack by 1, and that's obnoxious. So that's going to be part of the game plan as I move into this matchup, but this is mainly here to just outspeed his entire team. The next Pokemon that we have is Fortress, and before I talk into Fortress, do me a massive favor, in the comment section below, please give me a good nickname for Fortress. My nickname right now is Brock. I don't really have a nickname. Brock in the anime had a Pineco evolved in the Fortress, so his name is Brock, and it's shiny. And if you haven't seen the shiny Fortress in game, it looks like solid gold. So good. 24 karat magic can be in game for it, but right now it's Brock, but it's a solid gold Fortress. It looks so good in game. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Now Fortress is going to be doing what Fortress does, right? It's just going to be Rocky Helmet. Now Rocky Helmet is really, really nice for this because essentially what the idea is here, and if you guys for whatever reason didn't get a chance, I posted 2 videos today. Earlier today, you see my transactions, and then I will have another video for later in the day, which is going to be today. Right now, this video, don't know what I'm talking about. This video, we have this is where we're talking about the team, but the one earlier is going to be for transactions, so that's going to be kind of nice. I'm going to have a transaction video in the morning. Hope you guys saw that, and then what my thought process was on why I made these switches for Fortress. Now, Fortress is going to be doing what Fortress does best, right? It got body press this gen, which is a fantastic tool for it. It didn't have it before. It actually wasn't even in the game before, was it? I don't think it was. Sword and Shield, Stealth Rock, and it got Rapid Spin. And we're going to be doing Fortress things, man. We're just going to go level 50, and we're going to go max defense to get the most out of our body press and the most out of that really bulky defense stat. And we want to go odd on the HP and then the rest in attack. Was really the idea. So we're gonna do the rest in special defense is what I did. Special defense is gonna be, because we don't have anything else that's really gonna need it. Rapid Spin doesn't need the attack boost, so we're gonna go in special defense, which would be really nice. Could be nice to catch something off guard, which would be fantastic. So now the idea behind this, I'm actually gonna pull up my next Pokemon, and this is gonna be the Impish Nature. And then this is Timid, this is Adamant. Yeah, cool. So this is this is the 2-parter, right? Next up, we're gonna bring up is Sylveon, and we're gonna talk about Sylveon right now at the same time we talk about Fortress, and for 2 reasons. Well, 3 reasons actually. But we're gonna not Hyper Beam, Hyper Voice. Shout out to front office, Mr. PlatinumHowler gave me this idea, which is actually a really solid one. We're running Baby Doll Eyes with Wish and Protect. Alright, now EV spread here is going to be 244 in HP, we have 164 in our special attack, and then we have the rest in our Spit Death. And we're going to be running the, I think it's the Calm Nature, or the Impish Nature, the Calm Nature. So, no, the Modest, we're running Modest, I'm so sorry. One damage output here. Mucho damage. And then this is reverse, this is 100. And this is 64, there we go. That's the set. Now with Sylveon and Fortress, this is Annihilape. This is how much prep the Annihilape forces is these two Pokemon. But this is the Annihilape. This is the prep that Annihilape forces. Here's the game plan. Annihilape. Oh, that Pokemon is so scary. The Game Freak got that Pokemon right. Now here's the thought process, right? If I get, there's also has to be a world where this scenario works in our favor. So we're gonna switch in Fortress. We're max defensive with Rocky Helmet to get the chip, right? And then we're gonna go for a Volt Switch. Now Volt Switch does not boost Rage Fist. For those who don't know, Annihilape does. What makes it so broken? It has Defiant. So don't defog in front of it. Don't set up sticky webs, because whenever any one of its stats drop, then it gets a +2 attack boost. You can't go into Intimidate because it drops 1 in attack and then 2 in attack. So essentially it leaves that scenario with a +1 attack boost. Very threatening Pokemon. What makes it broken, what makes it fantastic is its signature move Rage Fist. Whenever you make contact with Annihilape, it boosts its base 50 Rage Fist to... It basically gives it 50 damage, 50 points of damage power every time it's touched. So if I were to hit it with something, then it gets a 50 point boost to Rage Fist, and it goes from 50 to 100. Touch it again, it goes from 100 to 150. Touch it again, it goes from 150 to 200. Touch it again, it goes to 200, and it max out at 350. 350 base power. Stab. Crazy. Fantastic Pokemon. So Fortress is designed to not touch Annihilape. Fortress is designed to make Annihilape kill itself and get in Sylveon. So we're going to be running the not impish nature but the relaxed nature to ensure that we move last always. And so the idea here is to bring in Fortress immediately on Annihilape and get the Rocky Helmet chip. If he wants to set up, that's fine, because we want to get in, get the chip if we can, then click Volt Switch. Rapid Spin doesn't work on Annihilape because it's a ghost type. So if it tries to spin block us, then the plan can still go. Because the idea is to come in, get the Rocky Helmet chip, and then Volt Switch out into Sylveon. We get a slow Volt Switch out, and if he wants to substitute, Hyper Voice goes through sub. So the idea is just to get either kill it, I 2-hit KO it with this spread guaranteed no matter what at max HP, max def, careful with leftovers. Always 2-hit KOs, and we can live a hit. If we have to use the Baby Doll Eyes tech, for those who don't know what Baby Doll Eyes does, it's basically going to be a priority move to lower attack by 1, and if it allows us to live 2 Rage Fists, that'll be fantastic. We do resist the Drain Punch or the Close Combat, and if he Close Combats us and drops his special defense, then we're gonna knock it out right away with Hyper Voice. But that's the idea. It's gonna force him out. Now the scenario that may happen here is if Sylveon comes in and then clicks Hyper Voice and he switches out to something to get the Roaring Moon in eventually, like the Clodsire. We did play around the idea of having this be Psychic instead of Baby Doll Eyes, but if you pull up the Cal, Clodsire is so fat, so disgusting, that a Psychic does like 33% max to a max HP Clodsire, and it doesn't even have to be Spadef bulky. It's going to be physically bulky for Palafin. And if it's no special defense investment, it does like 34% like max from a Psychic. So we thought that this would just be better because we don't want to stay in on Clodsire because it is a physically offensive mon. It'll just click Gunk Shot and do like 70% to Sylveon. So we're just going to forego Psychic and put on Baby Doll Eyes and stick with the strap. We'll just bring in Fortress and then figure it out from there. Fortress will allow us to set up Stealth Rock in front of the Clodsire, Rapid Spin in front of the Clodsire, get Body Press Chip on the Clodsire, which would actually be really, really nice. But this is the prep that it takes for Annihilape. So in summary, Annihilape comes in comes Fortress. Give it the Rocky Helmet chip, Volt Switch out. Into Sylveon. I get a free switch into Sylveon because I will be slower than Annihilape. Annihilape does damage, Fortress clicks Volt Switch, brings in Sylveon, clicks Hyper Voice, scare it out. Or kill it, one of the two. But this is the Annihilape strategy. Crazy. That's how much prep that Pokemon needs. Now the next Pokemon that we have here is Pincurchin. So Pincurchin is going to show up with the Terrain Extender. We're running Electric Surge. We're going to be running Discharge for the paras. Paralysis chances are going to be fantastic. Memento for 2 reasons. Number 1, and I'll explain that in a second. We're running Spikes to hazard stack them, and we're also going to be running Recover for longevity to keep the Psychic Surge around for as long as we possibly can. We're running 252 in HP as max as we possibly can. This is going to be a level 50. And this is pineapples, by the way. And then we're going to be running 180. We're going to run 84 in defense, is what I did. Is that what it is, right? Yeah, it's 84. Then the rest is Bedef. And this is going to be the Impish Nature. Calm? Calm. It's that one. Cool. So here's a couple things, right? Terrain Extender is going to be huge for 2 Pokemon. I'm even bringing Hawlucha. That's why it's here. Hawlucha is that 6 Pokemon. So just to kind of give you guys so you guys get a visual, right? Hawlucha's coming. Terrain Extender to be able to get the Electric Surge up for Iron Moth. So for those who don't know, Court Drive, either you can use a booster energy to be able to get a 1.3 times stat boost to its highest stat, and if its speed is 1.5 times. If you look at our spread here, our highest stat is special attack. Plus the Choice Scarf, we go fast and we get the boost. And basically a free life orb without the recoil damage. So this is here to be able to boost up Iron Moth, all his attacks, free life orb, as long as the electric terrain is up. So we want to keep that terrain up as long as you possibly can with electric extender. And then Hawlucha is going to be running its Mold Breaker set, the same one that it usually always runs. Actually, you know what's funny is that I said Mold Breaker, but I meant Unburden. But Mold Breaker is actually really good when we play Goldango because it did retain Defog, which is something that I did talk about today in my analysis and why I made the transaction. So make sure you check that out. But today we're going to be running Unburden. But Pincurchin set here is to switch into Slowking. Scare it out every single time. If we can get a pair on that Pokemon, that would be fantastic. But we can sit on Slowking for the most part if he's not offensive. I don't see an offensive Slowking coming. Memento is nice to be able to get into Hawlucha immediately or to Iron Moth immediately if we can get that Fiery Dance scenario that we talked about. But this is here to set up terrain. My boy is here to set up terrain and stack him with Spikes. If he does not bring Serena, we are going to Spike and Stealth Rock as much and as often as we possibly can to get as much damage as possible on all his team. His only form of removal is Serena, which does have merit to come, but if it doesn't, we're gonna set up them hazards. Last Pokemon we have, as we talked about, is Hawlucha. We're running Acrobatics. We're running Drain Punch over Close Combat, and I'll explain why. We're running Encore and Bulk Up. Now, the set here that we have is 140 in HP. We're running 116 in speed, and then we have the rest in attack. Now, this is also run the Adamant Nature. After the Burden boost, we do outspeed everything on the team, except the Electrode, I believe. That's what I did want to check. So I do want to check this. I talked about this in the beginning. I don't think Electrode comes. I don't think he can fit it. Although it is a scary Pokemon to have against us, I don't think it comes. Electrode at max speed, Jolly hits 222. And then if the electric terrain is up, we unburden, we do outspeed it, which is fantastic. So confirmed Hawlucha will be the fastest thing on the field. Now we're running Acrobatics and Drain Punch. The combination of the two hit the entire team. The entirety of the team. Dual stabs, all you need, fantastic. Encore is there in case I can catch like a Stealth Rock or something on like a Clodsire or a Dunsparce or something that's not going to be threatening us, which would be really nice. But Encore is going to be, I think, clutch in a couple different scenarios. We're running Bulk Up to be able to set up on those defensive cores, because the only thing that would be catastrophic is if I get glared on the Dunsparce, so I do have to worry about that. But I actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I may actually run Drain Punch, because the idea here was to click Encore on like a Dragon Dance from Roaring Moon, a Bulk Up on the Annihilape, things of that nature. But Sub is seeming to be a little bit better here, because if he wants to run Glare, I think that'll be better. So we're gonna run Substitute. I think Substitute's our best bet. That way we can still set up in front of the Dunsparce, which would be fantastic. But running Drain Punch to be able to get our health back on a lot of things with our stab and not drop our defenses, which is not something that I want. Dropping defenses is no bueno. But I think it was Belly Drum. Belly Drum on Cetitan is why I also ran Encore. But we're gonna run Substitute instead. So we're doing this live. We're changing it now. We're gonna go Substitute. But this is the team. This is what we're going to be running against the Carolina Roaring Moon. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If I missed anything, if there's something that pops out to you, leave it in the comments and give me your own analysis of OGalbina's team. And I'm very excited to play him. He's one of the most brightest minds in the draft league scene. And I'm very excited for this matchup. It's going to be very intricate. We have to play very well. And with this timer, that's going to be a big ask, but I think we could do it. Fantastic last game against John Jr. If you guys didn't get a chance to watch that, I should have a time card or a card in the corner for you to check that out. So make sure you please do so. If you guys did enjoy this team builder video, do me the massive favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. With that being said, I'm going to get the heck up out of here. Have a great rest of your day. And above all else, be nice. Peace.